Hi guys, what's up? I'm Anjali and you're watching More Than a Conqueror. We have an amazing topic. We always have amazing topics.
Yeah, we do.
Every topic is amazing, but I really like this one too. It's from Proverbs 4:23. So let me quickly read that, and then Nisi, Sherry, and Jihan will start pounding away at this topic, okay? So this is the Message version, which is more of a straightforward version. I like the Message translation of the Bible because it kind of hits home for me. It says, keep vigilant watch over your heart. That's where life starts. Very simple, straightforward, to the point. And the topic is guarding your heart. How important is guarding your heart? And before we get into the importance of it, what does it mean?
Ooh, that's good. Guarding your heart. Well, I think it's actually really important if you're going to guard something to make sure what you're guarding, like you actually got something good that you're guarding first off.
Okay, I like
so you
that.
need to know what's inside first. And actually in that scripture, the Hebrew word for that actually means imprisonment, to guard, to basically just imprisonment. So whatever it is, you're imprisoning in there. So that hit me when I was thinking about that verse before, that you just want to make sure that you got something good that you're guarding. And if you got something good, you want to make sure the stuff that is going to take that good thing out is not going to get in.
Okay. So then what does that mean, like, applying that daily?
That's good. I think for me, it's what you hear. The things that you're allowing your mind to see and the words that are coming around you. I know that I've done some work in my heart, meaning, there were times in my life I didn't like the woman that I was being, so I would write down who I wanted to be, and so I had to take steps to make sure, okay, well, I'm not going to be listening to the same things. I had to cut out some of my friends who were always talking about certain things that would trigger things in my heart, and I'm like, well, I've done some heart work to get away from that, so I don't want to listen to that, because then I start letting those old things back in, and then old habits start to get in, and all the good heart work that I was doing, now it's all going back to the same thing, so I wasn't guarding my heart, and so it was just opened up, and it just went right back to normal. So really just being aware of things that you're hearing, that's one way to let it into your heart.
Okay. How do you ladies guard your hearts?
I think, for me, well, as Christian women, I think that term is used a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I was like, I don't know what that means, and I actually didn't know what that means until pretty recently, or my interpretation of it. I listened to a series of CDs from Gateway Church. They have a ministry called Freedom Ministries, and the way it explained it was like brain explosion for me.
Okay.
But essentially, guarding your heart is it's your belief system, and it makes so much sense when you're reading, that Proverbs. It's like it's whatever you're believing, out of it flows the issues of life. Like it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe something about yourself, no amount of rational thinking, rationalizing, motivational talk is gonna change if you don't in your heart believe that about yourself. So at the same time, for myself, it's like, as a woman, and it's like, who are you allowing? It's what you listen to, it's what you watch, right? The media, the culture,
Ooh,
what it
that's so
tells
true.
about you. Even in business, they say like you are the 5 closest people that you keep around you.
Yeah.
That has an influence too. That's
Yeah.
guarding your heart. It's like it's the influences that you are selectively choosing to keep around you and like speak into your life and speak to you about who you are. And really the only authority that has the ability to say anything is God himself, and really the only person you should be listening to is God himself. But that's what I learned about guarding your heart is holding that. It's so precious, your belief system. Whatever you do will come out of that. And if you're letting garbage in, garbage is going to come out essentially. So.
That's good. Jihan, do you have an example? Like, have you ever lived anything or experienced anything in life where you realized, whoa, I wasn't guarding my heart, or I really need to start guarding my heart?
That's great. That's a really good question. Yeah, I feel like every day of my life, right? What I love so much about God's word is that it's alive, and that every time we read it, like we get a new revelation because it's alive and it cuts through to our soul.
Yeah.
And so guarding your heart, like you all have talked about, whatever season of life they're going through, it can mean something different, whether if you're dating. And I used to just keep, around my heart, it was like, oh, nobody's getting in. Well, that's clearly what, God doesn't mean don't let anybody into your life. But like you guys said, you want to guard what comes in. I've just made a really, a big conscious effort that the music that I listen to, I replace pretty much all of my music with praise and worship music. So that's one. I don't watch movies. I know this sounds crazy. I don't like movies. I love to read, but even when there is like the images of movies will stay in my head, and that it will seriously pollute my soul. It like the images that I'll see even on like reality TV and stuff. So I've just made a conscious effort, but it's really easy for me because, like I said, I love to read, and I'm always reading like books that are going to be refreshing to my soul. And that's as I've gotten older. That hasn't always been the case. So it's not about being legalistic. It's just about what I've seen has worked for me. We live in Los Angeles. I feel like you walk outside, you can have a freak show 24/7 if you want it. So honestly, like I've cut out certain secular things that are just, and then obviously we're in church. I have my Connect group. I have my godly friends, the girls around me. So that way when I am around secular, like when I'm out in the real world, I can be a different influence. As Christ followers, we are called to be different. We're not supposed to blend in with the world. We're not. So I think that guarding your heart, it also refers to like King David talks about, search my heart, oh God, search my heart. To show me impurities in my life. And I promise you pray that prayer, God is going to show it to you. He's going to show you in every season. And he's such a gentleman because he comes to us and he will show us what we need to work on in that season. And he's so patient with us and so kind. And so that's what I'm working on this season. It's like, Lord, just search my heart. I know you and I talked about this yesterday. It's just, God, search my heart and show me. And that's basically a lot, but
and if there's anything that's not of you, Jesus, I will pluck it out. I'll get rid of it. Because if it doesn't help you, then why keep it? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I actually had to. We are so similar in those two things that you just mentioned. The two things that you've kind of flushed out of your life: listening to certain music and watching certain movies. Because for me personally, and I know everybody's different, but I know what will pull me away from Christ. I know what that is.
And it's subliminal.
It's totally subliminal. In a city full of subliminal messages, it's important to see those things, to nip it in the bud, and to change those things, And it's not that, listening to certain music is quote unquote bad, but I think the question always is, will this thing, will this music, will this movie, will this book, whatever it is, will it bring me closer to God?
Amen.
That's the question at the end of the day, right?
Yes.
No, that's really good. And both of what you both touched on is really good and important because we never want to be legalistic about these things. But for every single one of us, it's going to look a little different than certain things that we need to guard. So I might need to guard myself from certain songs, whereas someone different doesn't need to. But it's so important for us to have goals and visions. I hope no women on this planet ever wants to stay the same. I hope that we all have something that we want to go towards and be different and be better. And so with that's going to cause for me to not do things the same way. So it just really means like us as women starting to be more aware of if this is where we want to go, is this a trigger for me that's keeping me in the same place or retracting me and I'm going back to another place. So us being aware of those things so that we can always be growing. I never want to stay the same, and God is so good that he never wants any of us to stay the same. That's why he's always going to be relentless with us.
Amen.
And the thing too with God, it's not the things that used to be attractive and that would lure me in don't have the allure that they used to. That's what happens. It's not like, oh, good job, Jihan, you're doing so good. No. It's Christ in me that no longer does that look satisfying even. So it's all glory goes to Jesus because on my own, impossible.
Absolutely.
Right to the man.
This topic blesses me so much because I've seen the change in my life. I've seen the change in friends' lives just by making the choice to not do it or to do whatever brings you closer to God.
So good.
We can talk about this for hours. I love this. Well, we hope this blessed you guys. Please check out our other webcasts, and we're going to keep talking about this, but we'll see you guys next time.